since I've joined, it's never been a huge church, but it's been a church that wants to really make a difference. Sometimes we get so concerned about people who come in and leave the church that sometimes we lose the real work of Christ, as opposed to, just continue to do the work of Christ and have faith and trust that enough will be there to continue.
They found themselves continually shrinking and until finally they applied to become part of the ELCA redevelopment program and were approved. And so that's what we've been doing, is we've been taking this journey together in redevelopment, figuring out how can we be church in this time and place in Flagstaff that is true to ourselves but also meets the people here in Flagstaff where they are. And overwhelmingly, it became clear that for Living Christ, doing an outreach to the LGBTQ plus community here in Flagstaff it's in some sense sort of our niche, but it was our calling. No other church was doing that.
The feedback that we get that Living Christ is a sponsor is, wow, you guys got a church sponsor? And we're like, yeah. And they believe in the community and they want to kind of try and help right some of the wrongs that have been done over the years, try and comfort people that, that it's okay. You're not going to come back and say, oh, we're welcoming. Oh, but not you.
I remember one of the first things I said, I was like, well, my name's Amanda. I'm from Arizona and I'm gay. Is that going to be a problem? And they're like, well, and I'm from Oklahoma. So what? I don't care that you're gay. And so that was really cool that it was so nonchalant that they're confused and kind of bewildered that I would even, make such an assertion. But I'd been burned so many times that I just didn't want to take the chance of falling in love with a church and then getting kicked out or whatever because of who I am and who I love.
Our presence and our intentionality really caught some people off guard and were made sort of really suspicious, but when they realized that we were actually being genuine and honest, that it wasn't a hook and bait switch kind of a situation, that people started to respond.
Because that congregation especially is so accepting and loving, it's like family. It makes it easier to feel God's presence or the Holy Spirit or whatever you want to call it.
So we'd already built a little bit of a connection, but we just simply found that once the pandemic hit and everybody was going online, we found that a lot of people were already naturally looking for church online, and we just simply found the materials that we were presenting online just simply getting more and more hits and views as time went on.
We were initially just getting anywhere from 30 to 40 viewings of the sermons. And then when I put a little more emphasis on the work towards it when the pandemic started, it was like, okay, we got up to 70 to 100. Then we put a little, just a few dollars behind it. And now we're averaging something like 500 viewings of sermons.
I'm not sure to what degree we're being total trailblazers, but we are still trying to feel our way through this new world that's going on and recognizing that the church as it existed back in the 1950s and 60s and 70s, even into the 80s, doesn't exist anymore, not really. And that because of the internet's basically been as much of a change for the church as, say, Gutenberg and the printing press was for Luther. And so how do we adapt these new technological advancements to use it then in the work of the gospel?